MMA fans, what's up? Another prediction video, UFC 75, champion versus champion. History in the making on this one. It's going to unify the 205 titles of the UFC and Pride. Some great fights on this card. It's really looking good. Of course, my last video was about Babalu getting released, so if you still want to check that out, leave some feedback. Got some really great feedback on that one, so everyone who has replied on that, thank you very much. But let's get rolling, shall we? Alright, the first fight is Anthony Torres versus Jess Leodin. I'm not so keen on pronunciations, but Anthony Torres, also obviously a veteran off Tough 2, was defeated by Luke Como on there. Won his one UFC fight by a submission. As for his opponent, Jess Leodin, I don't really know much about him. He defeated Dennis Silver in his UFC debut, sorry, and you know, basically just kind of a pick'em fight, and I'm gonna go with Anthony Torres for submission in this fight. The next prelim is Naoyuki Kitani versus Dennis Silver, who I just said lost his fight to Jess Leodin. Naoyuki Kitani also unsuccessful in his UFC bout. Excuse me. Kitani, of course, very, very aggressive. Silver brings not too bad stats into any of his other qualities. If I once again another pick'em, and I would have to pick Naoyuki Kitani to win this fight. Alright, moving along. Thiago Silva versus Thomas Jawal. People with names, I tell you. Like I said, not too good pronouncing on him. He's Thomas, of course, from Poland, I believe. But long story short, Thiago Silva would be my pick by anything he wants. This kid is aggressive. He's a really good fighter, well-rounded, and I put him up in the top competition, the 205 division. Maybe, you know, not quite title contention yet, but he's gonna be a monster, and you know, just look out for him. The last prelim is Gleison Thibault versus Terry Etim. Gleison, 3 fights in the UFC, 1 loss to Nick Diaz. Nothing to be ashamed about. Nick Diaz is the man, if you ask me. Don't know much about Terry. I think he won his UFC debut. Well, obviously he did. He's undefeated. Gleison sporting a 26-3-0 record. I'm gonna have to say Gleison will take this one. Probably early too, by submission. Houston Alexander makes his return on this card, taking on Alessio Sakara. Not taking anything away from Alessio Sakara, but you know, Houston Alexander, obviously his devastating knockout on Keith Jardine. I figured they'd give him someone more of a top fighter. Alessio Sakara, you know, nothing against him, but haven't really been impressed by any of his fights. He beat Elvis Sinisic, and he's lost to Dean Lister, and he won his last fight, but he's 2-2 in the UFC. But I see Houston, whether it be first, second, or third round, definitely winning this fight by a knockout. I think he'll be too strong and too quick for Sakara. I don't think Sakara's chin could withstand Houston Alexander's knockout power in his hands. But you know, Sakara could get it to the ground. We haven't seen Houston on the ground yet. Well, at least I haven't seen any of his prior fights to the Jardine fight, but be interesting to see, and I will take Houston Alexander by a knockout. Marcus the Irish Hand Grenade Davis versus Paul Taylor. Marcus Davis, lackluster on the show. Got his ass handed to him by Joe Stevenson, but came back and made a statement in his last UFC fights. He's been on a winning streak. He's really been on a roll, and I think that roll and that momentum is going to stay with him for a while, and I think he'll definitely finish Paul Taylor, whether it be by strikes or submission. He will finish this fight, I believe. So Marcus Davis by TKO or submission of some sort, probably in the second round. Mirko Cro Cop making his return against Czech Congo. Everyone obviously knows Cro Cop coming off the devastating loss to Gonzaga. Sorry, not with it today, but coming off his loss to Gonzaga. Czech Congo is 3-1 in the UFC. His only loss to Marrero, and both strikers. We all know what Cro Cop can do. We all know what Congo can do. Expecting both of the fighters to plant their feet and just swing till someone drops. Could be interesting. Congo hits hard, and Cro Cop's chin isn't the greatest. Haven't really seen much of Congo's chin tested or anything yet, but we'll see what Mirko can do. Obviously, my prediction would be Mirko Cro Cop by strikes in the second round. The fight that everyone wanted to see on The Ultimate Fighter 3, Matt Hamill versus Michael Bisping. I don't think the fight's going to be as even as people think it is. Matt Hamill's a great wrestler, but he's a great wrestler and nothing else. Michael Bisping is a great striker, a great wrestler, great on the ground. His submission game is great. I think he's just going to steamroll Matt Hamill. Matt Hamill, very strong-willed. He'll be able to hold on, but I'd say Bisping in the second round by strikes. And now to the main event. I've been smiling about this one since it was announced, simply because when Dan Henderson fought Vanderlei at the Pride event, it was actually the day after my birthday, so me and my friends were watching it, and there was about, I don't know, maybe 10 of us, and everyone picked Vanderlei Silva to win, and I was the only guy who picked Hendo. And a lot of people are thinking a Rampage will run right through Hendo, but once again, I'm going to go with Henderson. He's a lot smaller. He's probably not as strong. Rampage, of course, knocking out Chuck Liddell and becoming the UFC light heavyweight champion. I just think that Henderson is going to find a way to beat him. I don't know how. So as far as this prediction goes, I'm just going to say Henderson. I don't know how. I've never pictured this fight to happen ever, but I'm so glad it is. Going to be very interesting, but I think Henderson will unify the titles with a win, becoming probably one of the greatest champions ever. So I'm taking Henderson. Aside from this card, with this title unification, like hoping that more come along. I'd like to see, well, depending on Sean Shirk's situation, whether he gets stripped or relinquishes the title, or keeps it and BJ Penn beats him for it, which would happen. I'd love to see, Takanori Gomi versus BJ Penn to unify, or Dan Henderson versus Anderson Silva at 185 to unify those titles. I don't know what's going to go on with that. Obviously, Randy Couture called out Fedor Emelianenko, rightfully so. The guy's on a roll again. He's 44 years old. A lot of people on forums, SureDog mostly, there's a lot of Fedor hate now just because he won't sign with anyone, but say what you want. Fedor Emelianenko is the best fighter in the world, and I will fight for that statement till the very end. So it's going to be interesting to see, and UFC 76, Liddell Jardine, and also Shogun and Forrest. Got some great fighters coming in with the recent signing of Wanderlei Silva too. Things are only going to get better, or so we can hope. Anyways, this card's going to be awesome. Don't miss it. History in the making. The Art of War card is tonight, I think. It's Saturday. Yeah. So that one's Pedro Rizzo versus Jeff Monson. There's a few other good fights. Jeremy Horn versus Jorge Santiago. So that's on tonight, so check it out if you're craving some MMA. Other than that, enjoy the card. Take care. Until next time, see you later.